G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to make my most used art journaling supplies video, and I've got everything kind of spread out in front of me in semi-categories, and I'm just going to preface all of this by saying this is going to be chatty and long. I don't recommend these as like the best products ever of this version of product. This is literally just what I have and what I grab the most. So that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. So I won't try and qualify some of these as like the best art supply in the world. But a lot of them are really great quality, and they're something that I would recommend, obviously, because I use them a lot. But yeah, these are my most used art supplies, and I'll try and give you a little bit of a reason why. Like, some things are super random why this is my most used sharpener. So that's why I kind of wanted to make this video. I gloss over that sometimes, or it's in a video that was 3 years ago and I haven't explained it since. And sometimes people have questions about why do you pick that, or what is that? And I would just rather put it all in one video so I could direct you here to watch it. And that's it. That's where we're going. First up, random. I'm going to go with tools just because they're kind of boring. We'll get them out of the way. Scotch Advanced Tape Runner. I used to use the Tombow Mono Knock adhesive. No, Tombow Mono adhesive. That's it. I use the Tombow Mono Knock eraser. This is the Scotch Advanced Tape Runner. This one is much more reliable. It is humongous, but nice and ergonomic, and this refill lasts a really long time. This is my second one, and I did like a whole journal with one of these. So this is pretty good. I use this instead of glue sticks. I don't typically use glue sticks anymore. If I do, I'll use an Elmer's or a Yoo-Hoo stick, like nothing fancy, just your regular craft glue sticks. But yeah, that is the tape runner that I use and use most often. To attach other pieces of ephemera, I'll use this Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. This is Ideology, and it is really, really good, really ergonomic, really, really tiny staples. It comes, I don't know if I bought a staple refill, but there's like 1 billion staples in it, so I feel like it'll never run out. Like I said, ergonomic handle, which is nice, a squeeze grip, and I use this mostly for my junk journaling, my garbage journaling, I like to call it. Sorry, I am fighting off an allergy attack. Usually I am in every single one of my videos. I know it's annoying, but we're gonna have to deal with it because I'm not getting rid of the cats and nothing is working. None of these pills are working. Oh goodness, I even cleaned the room and tried to get all the cat hair out of it. Here's what it is, Santa. All right, 3 other Tim Holtz, well, technically 1 item, but 3 versions of it. Tonic Studios scissors, the large ones, the medium, and the tiny snips. These are fantastic. Just as sharp today as the day I bought them. Nope, lies, didn't. I bought this one. I was gifted these ones. But either way, statement's still true. Just as sharp today. Really, really fantastic. Great quality scissors. I've only ever really cut paper and cardboard with them. I'm sure they could cut fabric, but I wouldn't cross-contaminate that way. All my sewers know you don't do that. My grand taught me that. But yeah, great scissors. Really invest in a pair of scissors if you're going to get into like fussy cutting. I know most art journalists will give that a go at some point, but these tiny snips work amazing for that. Always grab those. Speaking of, I wasn't going to put this in because it's kind of, well, it's not big. My whole reason for liking it is that it's not that big, but I didn't grab it. This is the Tonic Studios paper trimmer. And I think this is, I don't know if they call it a small version, but I think it's for like a US letter size sheet papers. And it has this push plate on it and a blade, like a little guillotine. We used to call these guillotines. I'm not quite, I think they're just called paper trimmers. But this is also Tim Holtz Tonic Studios. Great quality tools from Tim Holtz and Tonic Studios. Yeah, I love this. Use this to cut up my ephemera and keep all my lines nice and square and even and straight and whatever. Speaking of, a ruler. Muji metal ruler. I love it. Small, portable. That works well for me. And this is also small and portable, a slice tool. This is like a travel-friendly version of an X-Acto knife. It has a small ceramic blade. I shouldn't do that. Don't ever do this, as I keep doing it. It stays pretty sharp because it's ceramic, and it is, yeah, just really handy pen version of an X-Acto knife. I usually use this for when I do washi tape, and I kind of go over the edge of a tip-in, and I need to slice into the washi tape so that it hinges correctly again. It is such a random reason to use this, but you have no idea how many times I actually do that. So that is something that I almost exclusively use this for. When I didn't have a cutting machine, I would use this for some more intricate cut work, paper cutting, but I use the cutting machine for that now. So it's pretty much only for that. Kind of random, but I keep it around. And then, speaking of tip-ins and things that fold up into our journals, these are bone folders, and I find them really handy every time you're making a nice sharp fold, you always want to kind of press it in with the bone folder. I find it just makes it extra crispy, which keeps everything flatter in a journal. Even if you're using transparent sticker paper for something and you want to burnish it into the paper so that it kind of melts in, a bone folder is great for that as well. Mine's pretty beaten up and used, but I love it. I lost it recently and I only just found it, so I'm glad because I wanted to put it in this video. And those, I think, are tools. Something that is not really a tool, but it's kind of like a random accessory, are clips. Clips for journals to hold them open as I'm working. These are Traveler's Notebook ones. I love these ones. Super wide surface, or I guess edge, so it clamps down a lot of the pages, and they hinge open pretty wide as well. They're very, very, very sturdy, and like that hinge is, there's a lot of tension in there in that spring. These are great as well. They don't open as wide. I'm not actually quite sure what these were for originally, but I have these Tokyo Disney Resort. These are from Japan. This is a set here, little Minnie and Mickey, and then these bread and butterflies. You can find some of these on a website called US Shopping SOS. It's like a personal shopper service for the, I guess, like theme parks in Asia and other places as well, like Starbucks Japan. But they do like a personal shopping service. Sometimes they have the clip sets in there, but I got these in the park. I got these ones from US Shopping SOS. But I love them. I love to have clips to open the journals because even the most lay flat of journals won't just lay flat on its own, or especially if you're like me and you bulk it up with a lot of ephemera, it's just you're gonna need some of that support to keep it open. Let's get rid of those. Excuse me for a second while the allergies kill me. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back to it. These are also what I would consider kind of tools. We'll do all of that before we get to the supplies. I mean, the supplies is going to be kind of random. These are just whatever. It's most grabbed, most used art journal supplies. Erasers. This is my own little category here. Erasers. Faber-Castell kneaded eraser. Love this for picking up the extra graphite on my paper just before I watercolor if I want a really soft effect. The Tombow Mono Dust Catch seems to be my favorite eraser. I don't know why. I just think the novelty of having a black eraser. But the Tombow Mono erasers, like I don't know what it is specifically about them except for the zero. I did not like this zero and I don't know what is different about it, but the Tombow Mono Knock eraser, this one, this is amazing. Love these, love this. I seem to like all these tools in a pen kind of formation, I guess because they all fit into a pencil case and it just feels like it all makes sense to me. But these Mono Knock erasers, love these. These are fantastic. These I would use just if I need to erase more surface area or do a bit of a more thorough job erasing, because this gets really tiny detailed. Especially if you erase kind of around, you can make a little point and you can get a really, really fine eraser out of that. I thought you could do the same with the Tombow Mono Zero, but it's actually quite square, and for some reason I just don't like this eraser as much. I don't know if they made it out of something different or if I just got a bad one, but did not love that. Does not erase nearly half as well as these do. So those are great erasers. Like I said, this one just picks up extra graphite, just a kneaded eraser, which is great for that stuff. And then I use these kind of in conjunction with the erasers sometimes for my more detailed work or my blendy, smudgy work with graphite. These are Tortillons blending stumps, paper blending stumps. These are pretty ratty, and I think I got these on Amazon. They're like a no frills brand, and once they're all kind of beaten up, that's kind of the best way to use them. So I love those. This is a sharpener, and this I got a long time ago. I think when I was like 16 or something, from Morning Glory. The lid has since snapped off. I don't even know where that is, so I can't fix it. The reason I use this, out of all the sharpeners I have, is because this side here sharpens it so that the length of the... Hang on, I'll show you here. Might not be the best version to show you on here. You can have like a really long... you can have like a really long length of the wood showing, or you can have a really short length. There's a pencil. So here, this is a really short part of the wood that shows. And then if you're looking at a pencil like, ooh, where's another one that I could show you? Maybe I'll here. See how there's a lot more of the wood showing here? It's like a longer I don't know what you would even call that. And I don't even know why it's important. For me, I just like it to be shorter. For some reason, I feel like it's saving some of the pencil, even though I don't think it is. And it has that longer side as well. Like, you can sharpen it on the longer side. Also, the blades are pretty good for as long as I've had them. See how much longer that is now? I don't like that. I like it to be a shorter edge. And on the shorter edge, you can just sharpen the tip of the lead, so this kind of keeps it pointy without taking more of that wood off. I don't know what that's called. I don't even know why it's a thing for me, but I do seem to love it. So that is why I use this sharpener over all the other sharpeners I have. Don't get me wrong, I do use the other ones, especially if the pencil is too big to fit in here, because this is a really standard size, like small pencil opening, but that's my preference. And I thought I'd explain that because I don't think I've ever explained that before, but that's why I use that. So those are my kind of pencil-ish tools. Put those over there. Other tools for painting, we love water brushes. The Tim Holtz Detailer brush, which I believe is a Kuretake brand brush. Love that. That one's probably one of my favorites. And the Aquash Pentel Aqua brush. That's been a pretty good standard. That's a lot finer of a tip. But I think those two have kind of been the ones that I've enjoyed working with the most. I'm also kind of biased because these were some of the first ones that I ever owned, and so they've seen me through, right? So we tend to favor those things that worked in the beginning and worked for years, and even though you replace them with nicer and newer stuff, sometimes you just have a fondness for the old stuff, so I do love those. These are my Escoda Versatile travel brushes, so they do come apart in half, and you can cap them for travel. I don't like to do that after they've been used because I think they're going to get moldy if I trap all that water and air in there. So I just usually keep them open and at my desk anyway. This was a whole set that came together. Steve got me these for Christmas and they're just beautiful. I love them. Absolutely love them. Really wonderful to paint with. I feel like I'll grow that collection over time. Speaking of painting, this is just a watercolor set. I've recently done a video of putting together this watercolor palette and told you all the colors and paints and brands that are in here. But I really believe in a curated set of watercolors of your personal preferences at the time, rather than just a whole set of like, this is the perfect mixing palette or this is the perfect black. I feel like you can have all those palettes for sure, but I think it's a great idea to have a palette that is just purely like, you know, colors and finishes and brands and stuff that you're passionate about for that season. I believe in changing it. I believe in like reinvigorating it, taking one thing out, putting a new thing in, because your preferences always change. And sometimes you're making work that calls for a bit more of a flat watercolor finish. Sometimes you're making work that you're really enjoying all the texture, and sometimes you're doing things where you're going to scan it all, so you can't use all these, you know, fancy metallics and glitters and stuff that won't scan. So I feel like change it up, have a personal palette that is purely for fun and play. And that is what I believe in here. Excuse me again. We'll get through the video, I swear. I just have to keep taking my breaks to blow my nose. This is, this is something I grab the most for that reason, I believe, because I have many, many watercolors, but this one will always be around me because it is just my favorites of the moment. And even if they belong to another set, sometimes I'll make a note, like put this back in that set once you're finished. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'll always have just my favorites in this palette. And I think it's a great size too. I got this off Amazon. It holds a lot of watercolors, so my preference is to have a lot of convenience mixes. And I think that's pretty much it for tools and like random other things. Oh, random other things that aren't like kind of supplies, pens and pencils and stuff. Washi tape, love washi tape. I keep them in these old Patreon boxes. Remember those Happy Mailer boxes? I just keep them in trays like this. I have 4 of these full next to my desk because I love washi tape so much. And then I have stickers. These are sticker books that I've made with the offcuts, the backing, the paper backing of my Collage Club sticker sheets. When I make the Collage Club files and I do them on my silhouette, all the ones that I've used, I've turned them into sticker sheets for these books. And so I can put my stickers on there. This one is kind of new. I've only just started putting stickers in here. There you go. So that one has got a long way to go. This one has kind of been in use, so you'll see some blank sections where I've been stealing stickers from. But this was the first one I made. And they're Traveler's Notebook sizes because they sit in my Traveler's Notebook with my photo journals. So those are my little sticker inserts. And I use lots of stickers. These are all loose stickers that I have to deal with. I got these for Virtual Voyage 6, Tokyo A Go-Go. So I might try and transfer those, or I'm not quite sure. Maybe just transfer a few and just keep the rest in the packet for later, or to share. So yeah, I love stickers and washi. I think that's a given. Those are more stationary than art supplies, but I do use them a lot. Okay, here, I've got a category that's kind of like inks and then pencils. Pencils seems the smallest, so let's go with pencils. Lead pencils, so random, but I'll always use these Ticonderoga #2 pencils. I don't know why, I just love them, and I love this holographic barrel. Elijah put his name on there. This is just such a standard, like, classic school pencil in America. We don't really have these as standard school pencils in Australia, but Steve told me that they're classic for American schools, so I love that. I don't know why. They usually come... I have black versions of them, and I have a yellow version. Like, there's the black one. And then the standard yellow here. So they could either look all like this, but these are the Ticonderoga ones. You can get those in a massive pack at Target for really cheap around back to school sales. Love those. When I want more graphite or like a really premium pencil experience, especially if I'm using the blending stumps and I need to lay down a lot of graphite, the Palomino Blackwings are really, really special and really beautiful to play with. I have a whole bunch of these and I just love them. So those would be my two kind of pencil preferences. The Mitsubishi Red Blue, the Vermilion Prussian Blue, classic. I have these little pencil caps for them now. Just because they get so small. I've used so many of these down to like this size. Been using these for years. Absolutely love them. Absolutely swear by them. Just love it. I don't know why. I love to sketch in the red. I love to clean up in the blue. Sometimes I just love to sketch in the red and leave it in red. Red is my favorite color, so maybe that has something to do with it, but they're just beautiful. I've also used a ton of different versions of these, like different brands that make red blue pencils, and honestly, these good old Mitsubishi, the Uni Mitsubishi ones, are the best. They're the sturdiest, they're the most reliable, they're the cleanest, just perfect. Perfect. Love them. Mechanical pencils. This is something that's kind of new to me over the past few years. I've never been a big mechanical pencil fan, and I don't really know why I fell into it, but the Pilot Color Eno 0.7, I put a red or a pink refill in this. I've used tons of refills in these. These are great to sketch if you don't want to see your line work at the end, because they erase really well, but also... well, not super well, but they blend away. Like if you're going to watercolor over the top, you barely see it underneath. But yeah, you can get a really light impression, and I still feel like it's light enough, but I can see it. So I really like that. And then I have these. These are all just regular mechanical pencils, but they come in different sizes. This is a 0.3, and I just wanted to let you know that the reason I don't use the 0.3s as much, I'm pretty heavy-handed, so I snap the leads really often, but also sometimes I find it really scratchy. I find that the 0.3 will kind of tear into paper sometimes, and I just hate that feeling. So even though I have some 0.3, they're not one that I'd really recommend. These would be my preference, and there are 0.5, I think that's pretty standard. I love that. This is the monograph, Tombow monograph. I have a couple of those. Then this one, and I'm spoiled for having a couple. Sometimes I get them in Art Snacks boxes and I have multiples, but for this one, for any of the things that I have multiples of, it's just purely out of convenience because I do go through so many leads and refills. I don't refill them every time they empty. I just grab a different one. It's like I have backups, and then once all the backups are gone through, I will take a day where I'll just refill everything and start again from fresh. But that's why I like things like these, because they're refillable. So, I feel like it's a little bit that you can do for the environment. I'm not the person to look for that. I'm not an environmental warrior over here, but I do appreciate all of y'all who do. I think art supplies is tragic to try. I'm not going to go there. To try and focus on all of that. This is not that video. I will never do that video. I can't do that video. I'd be the biggest hypocrite in the world. This is 0.5. Love that. 0.7. Pretty good. This one's actually probably the best one for me because it's strong enough. The lead is strong enough for me to not break it often, but I really like a 0.5. And then this one is new. These are 1.3. These are like big old chunky, like full-on drawing ones. And I didn't realize you could get them in this size. So I have a couple of these 1.3 versions. In the Art Snacks box recently, we got this really flat version, which is interesting too. It's kind of like a flat lead, which I found interesting, but I can't say I pick that out often. I've picked out this 1.3 Stedler version bit more often than that. So I'm going to say mechanical pencils, love those. And that brings us to our final category, inks. Inks, you know, general miscellaneous inks. Oh, where's my... Oh, there it is. I was going to say, this is the inkiest one. This is the Pentel Pigment Brush. Love this. Just a bristle brush pen with pigment black ink, waterproof. Love that. Had these for years. I just use the refills. Sometimes I'll just open up the barrel and put in Sumi calligraphy ink. But if I have a refill, I'll use the refills. The Zebra brush pen, the sign pen, these are disposable. These are waterproof, small, hard-tipped brush pens. Love those. These have kind of been classic for me. I've used tons of brush pens over the years, but again, this is the one I will always kind of grab first. Then as far as liner pens goes, I'm going to say these are my favorite 3 types. Now, I know that these brands, like, sometimes they can change their liner pens and there can be different versions of them. And really, are they all the same? Yes. But for some reason, these 3 are the ones that I like the most. I love the Copic multi-liners. I don't know what it is about these that I love the most, but I just really love those. Those are great. The Derwent line makers are a new personal favorite of mine. I really, really love these. I think those are great, but I have worn them down. Like, those tips I feel like wear down pretty easily. And then these are classic, the Sakura Pigma Micron pens. The reason I'm putting these in there is because these ones have some of the biggest sizes available, and the 8, 10, and 12 are definitely worth picking up. So I would say if you want my true opinion, which ones I'd buy first, definitely I'd buy the Derwent line maker, and I'd buy the Copic multi-liner. Like, these would be my 2 recommendations for liner pens, but this one I would pick up the large pack if you're someone that works on a bigger scale, or you just want to have some really hefty, broad-tipped, like, look at that, that's almost a marker. Yeah, broad-tipped waterproof black pens. And these are all super rich blacks as well. Sometimes I have an issue with the other blacks just not being as rich. So these I feel like are all pretty rich. Love those. Pens, like my mechanical pencils, I do love a multi-pen. These 2 I got for free with my Hobonichi purchases, and these are actually kind of my daily pens. It's just a red, blue, and black, what are they called? Ballpoint pen refill, and I've refilled these a couple of times. I really do use these to death. Love these pens. I really wish I could enjoy nicer pens for more daily practice, but for some reason I pick these up all the time. I don't know why. It irritates me because I have so many more beautiful pens than this, but yeah, those I pick up. And then this is a multi-pen, kind of crafted for convenience. This is a 3, look, I've broken mine. It's a uni style fit. It's a 3 refill insert, and I've got a red gel insert, a black ballpoint insert, and a mechanical pencil insert. This barrel is really broken. See, I'm really heavy-handed. I break the pen barrels. Yeah, this one is kind of for convenience. It's like your one pen to rule them all for my sketching, my notes, my journaling. This, I feel like, kind of crafting your own really works super well. So I love that. These pens will write on absolutely anything. The Staedtler Lumocolor Permanent. These, I don't even know what you'd call these, but it's like if Sharpies were a pen, which I know those are, but there's something about these that is like chaotic. Like, they can write on anything and they will not come off. I mean, sometimes they'll come off. If you really work at it. But yeah, like, do not let these fall onto your desk or anything. They are permanent. It says here it's a universal pen. It's supposed to be for film, glass, styrofoam, wood, stone, metal, plastic, and I mean, yes. So I use these to write on things that typically I can't write on. So glossy surfaces over paint, transparent films, stuff like that. These are really great for that. Or photos. I just write on top of those photos. I wish they had more colors, but maybe they will in the future. I feel like these are more of a, like, you know when you can get art supplies, and some are clearly for artists, and then some are for, like, technical draftspeople or people who work in industry where they need what's an art supply? They need stationery, or they need a pen that can work on, you know, like a car or something like that, like a grease paint or something. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to make art out of these, which I don't feel like are supposed to be for that, but I love them. Really great. Got those in Australia over Christmas. These are kind of, like, let's say playful inks. My Zig clean colored dot markers, love, love, love. I have a whole collection of these. I usually tell the story that I bought them one by one. I probably would have saved a lot of money if I just bought the whole set, but I was not sold on them in the beginning, but I am totally sold on them now. I use them all the time. Tombow dual brush pens. What are these called? These are water-based ones. They do have alcohol-based ones now. Anything alcohol-based will kind of eat through your paper, so we try not to use that in journaling, but I don't always do that. Sometimes I'll use my Copic markers. But these are water-based, and I find these great for working in my 5-year journal or just coloring anything on those coated thin papers. They work really well for that. So those are great. Have a big set of those. And then this, I put in here as an alternative to the white Uniball Signo Broad. Some people don't like these because the ink is really viscous and it can skip or it can just totally stop working. They can be finicky, I will say that, but they are my favorite white gel pen. So white Uniball Signo gel pen, I'll always grab that. Or a Sharpie water-based paint marker. You can get these in various sizes. I don't like the metal tipped ones. I find those get clogged and don't work anymore. So the smallest I would go is the fine point, which isn't super, super fine, but they're water-based. Give them a really good shake. Once they're prepped and primed, they're ready to go, and these work really well. The water-based ones. The oil-based ones tend to have more problems, and I don't know if you really want to be using oil-based paint in your journals. It'll dry, but sometimes it just causes issues. So water-based ones, which actually I will say went away for a while and then came back, but I don't know if they're still back or if they just came back and they've gone again. So these can be a little hard to find at certain points throughout history. I don't know if they're back, but good alternative to that. These are also Uniball Signo broad pens, the gold and the silver. I just really like having those metallic versions. And then these I use probably the most often. I use my 5-year journal daily, and I switch up the colors of my pens all the time, and I use these Muji gel pens really, really often. Like all the time you see color in my journal, in my 5-year journal, it's these gel pens. I also use colored gel pens for my art as well. I love to put them in eyes or make colorful accents and details and patterns. I really love colored gel pens. So I have a whole bunch of these. Of course, there are other brands, but I'll say these ones are the ones I grab most often. And that, everybody, wraps up my most used journaling supplies video. We have absolutely suffered through it with these allergies. They will never get better. So at this point, you should unsubscribe if that was too hard to get through, because I'm almost considering quitting YouTube because of these allergies. It's so hard to make these videos and have all these like interruptions. I've got to go again. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. And yes, so there's nothing we can do about it. Thank you all for your suggestions. I've heard all of the suggestions. The actual problem, I'm deathly allergic to the cats. And we have 2 of them, and they're in this room 24/7. One of them sleeps on this chair. One of them sleeps under the desk. I think they actually just get on the desk to shed and then run away. So it's never going to get better. Some days are better than others, though. I should have probably opened the window. Anyway, enough of that. This has been my most used journaling supply video. I hope that illuminated some of the questions you might have had, or just was maybe a little helpful if I know it's a bit early for Christmas, but if you're watching this around Christmas time, you're thinking about things you might want to purchase for yourself or someone that likes art journaling. I do have a lot of these linked in my Amazon storefront in the description box below, so you can go check that out if you're looking for specifics. Otherwise, I will just leave it there, and thank you once again for joining me for another video on YouTube. Yeah, great. See you later. Bye.